Carlos and Mare, a married couple, walked hand in hand through a radiant and scorching Acapulco port. They were in that stage of life where, without thinking too much about it, happiness seemed perpetual, and things couldn't be better. Carlos had a good job. Mara had been accepted into the state's best university for fine arts, and their little son Andres looked more radiant and fearless every day. "Look, that man over there seems to be painting something. You know how much I love street art," Maria suggested teasingly to Carlos as she nibbled on his left earlobe. "When you do that, I can't resist," Carlos replied. "Welcome to my illuminated darkness," greeted an elderly man kneeling on the ground without looking up. "Young lady, distinguished and youthful couple, like you would be a wonderful muse for my next portrait. Would you be so kind as to be my living models?" he asked. "Oh, of course, it would be a great honorable," Maria interrupted her words, when the old man lifted his head and showed his gray eyes. "You didn't have to be a doctor to know he was blind." "Very well," the old man said as he sketched an unsettling smile. "At your age, it would be natural to have children, at least one, isn't it?" They both nodded. "I will also portray him if you allow me, of course." Carlos and Master A exchanged glances between the improvised oil painting on the ground and their bewildered faces. Slowly, like a snake, that bewilderment transformed into horror when they noticed that the blind man was not only portraying them identically as they had never seen before, but also their absent son, Andres, was a perfect likeness of himself. "So, how do you like it?" the man exclaimed after finishing Bristol's ear, the family dog, who was not there either. "I apologize for the delay, but I didn't want to skimp on details. I hope you don't mind me taking the liberty of portraying the dog. I know you love him." Carlos and Mara felt both fear and fascination. Maria, driven by her love for art and a desire not to be rude, congratulated him and eagerly asked how much they owed for the artwork. "Don't worry, my friends. You will pay for this work yourselves, for being so kind as to serve as my models," the man said. And as he finished the sentence, he revealed a row of ochre teeth, like those of a hyena. Everything ended there. It would be a great anecdote. The blind old man who portrayed them identically, as well as their absent son and dog. They would surely tell the story at Christmas when both their families gathered. Orlinda, the housekeeper, had been with them for a short time, and although she was very meticulous about cleanliness, Carlos couldn't shake the feeling that she was always hiding something. "Maybe I'm just paranoid," he thought. However, he never stopped feeling a certain suspicion, especially when he had recently noticed some of his personal belongings missing. Nevertheless, as a lawyer, he preferred to give her the benefit of the doubt. Carlos left an envelope with the check for last year's severance pay on his dresser, adjusted his tie, and headed downstairs. Once on the ground floor, he was surprised that Bristol hadn't come out to greet him before going to work, and he hadn't urinated on the newspaper as he did every morning. He was in a hurry and overlooked the detail. As he closed the garden gate, he saw the lifeless body of what appeared to be Bristol, as the pile of organs and bones stretched out behind each passing vehicle no longer resembled a dog. He hadn't shed a tear in a long time, but he thought he should properly say goodbye to him at night, for now he had an important hearing. He faced the hearing with determination, mustered up his courage, and confronted a significant case. However, when he left, and despite being a tough guy, he couldn't help but shed the few tears he had left for his friend Bristol. Bristol had been with him even before he met Masere, and he loved him more than many of his relatives. But damn it, he was already an adult, had a family, and couldn't get depressed over a dog. As he got into the car, his phone rang, and he answered from the hands-free. "Mare. Mare," his mother-in-law's broken voice. "Mare is dead." Carlos tried to ask, to get details, but Mastera's mother was overcome with grief, and nothing she said was intelligible. He wanted to think it was a mistake, a tasteless joke, but he began to receive more calls and messages with the same news. Master A is dead. Masa A was attending a modern art exhibition, one of her favorite pastimes, and she had been looking forward to this particular one for months. One of the brackets of the most valuable and immense painting in the exhibition collapsed after a screw holding its right side burst, and it fell onto Mare, almost completely severing her head. Carlos was on his way home, hoping to find his wife safe and sound, hoping someone would explain what the hell was going on. He remembered that 2 days ago, Bristol had bitten the end where the blind painter was holding a bone on the portrait. He also had a horrible realization. He remembered that little Andres had innocently cut his mom's head from the portrait because he needed it for the family tree assignment at school. Upon arriving home with the worst premonition of his life, he went to look for the portrait. "Sir, what's wrong with you? Why are you tearing the house apart?" Orlinda asked, hiding a strange envelope in her apron as she noticed Carlos rummaging and throwing everything in his path. "I can't find the damn portrait. Where the hell is the damn portrait?" Orlinda clutched her head with an expression of bewilderment and relief, and knowing that she was about to receive the scolding of her life, she pointed to the bucket full of water with which she had been cleaning the living room. It's that. Forgive me, boss. I was cleaning and didn't realize it had fallen. Just wait. I'll clean it for you," she exclaimed almost proudly with a creaky voice, like an old hinge. Carlos hurried over, retrieved the portrait from the bucket, and saw that the bottom part of it, where little Andres was located due to his height, was submerged. Instinctively, he ran as fast as he thought he could and looked into the pool to see Andres floating. He pulled his soft, lifeless body out, placed it on his knees, and wept inconsolably, like the child he no longer was. After several seconds of continuous sobbing and crying, Carlos lifted his head and noticed the portrait beside him. "You damn old son of a bitch, you did this to me. You took away everything I wanted. I don't care anymore." With his strong hands, he shattered the portrait into pieces without noticing that behind him, Orlinda was holding a large bag filled with jewelry and aiming a Smith & Wesson .38 at her temple. The shot pierced Carlos's skull and traveled towards the pool, producing a timid dance of ripples in the water. On the ground, blood stained several tiles, Carlos's body remained huddled, holding his lifeless son. Both no longer breathing, Orlinda was gone, and so were the pieces of the portrait.